There, we're live for the first time, at least for Eva, and you see that my camera is indeed fixed, so you shouldn't have the blurry bad image anymore that I didn't know was because the lens was muddied. I thought it was just the lighting, so yeah, I will quickly set stuff up, and we will wait a bit and then we can chat some for like half an hour. I think I can make that. Let me know if you like this kind of weird ninja stream. Might do it more often. But yeah, we'll just see how this turns out if anyone's interested in joining. And I will set it up. I will see the chat in a moment. Don't see it yet. So curious to read your comments as always. So funny. I just watched episode 16 reaction with you, and I actually am amazed how much I got from the little hints in the episodes. That was pretty cool. I mean, I didn't think I would get that much, but I indeed did get some stuff. So that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let me quickly set up more stuff and get the chat into a window where I can see it. There it is. Chat is there. And 8 people. So greetings to all of you who journeyed from the reaction probably. Yeah, I'm so amazed now that I did call the mother thing. I do have to say though, I have to be a bit careful there, because in my mind in the end the mother stuff was not in the anime as prominently as in End of Evangelion. In End of Evangelion, the mother stuff really made me really mad, the way it was done. But in the show, it was done exactly perfectly, so I don't know. Also, many love to Malaysia. Yeah, I do think the thing is, because I do think I did predict several things that happened later in at least a thematic idea. I think I did get the some of the core things right. That's why I also think I got the author quite okay in at least the anime, and I do think I also got the author quite okay in End of Evangelion. And yeah, I am currently editing the episodes till 26 at End of Evangelion, and I rewatched End of Evangelion yesterday, and I do think some of the suspicions I did have in the end are now pretty much on point. So yes, Serial Experiment Lane is indeed on the. I think it was on the shortlist last time for the short anime slot. So I don't know how many of you do follow the release schedule of the channel. So I do have a long anime slot and a short anime slot. Short anime slot is up to 26-ish episodes. Long anime slot is more. So long anime slot is currently Monster, which is like 80 episodes about. And Evangelion was a veto from me. I wanted to watch it, so I just short anime slot after Steins Gate, and after that we will have a short anime again, like Serial Experiment Lane. I do think that Serial Experiment Lane is 12 or 13 or 11, so it might be a good candidate. I think we also had Psychopath Pass. I don't remember the shortlist. Because basically on Patreon, I gather a list of anime with 28 episodes, and then I let people vote on that with multiple choice votes. So you can vote for more than one thing, and we do the thing that is most prominent. Yeah, Ergo Proxy is there as well. Yes, Ergo Proxy is there as well. I would say now, though, Evangelion, if I just take the anime, is completely non-depressive or depressed. I think it's one of the most hopeful things I've ever seen, and I loved it. Like you will see in the reactions, like the 25 and 26 reactions, like I loved the ending so much. I think I only felt this positively strongly about an ending for Death Note. So if you know my Death Note ending reaction, you can imagine what my ending reaction for Evangelion will be like. So I really, really did like that. Like, Evangelion is now 10 of 10. The only one thing I have 10 of 10 currently. There is only one arc I had with Evangelion, and it was, I think, executive meddling. So everyone who's seen the show will probably know which scene I mean and which character, let's say, journey, because I don't want to spoil past the episode that is released. But there was a real big arc I had with the show in episode 18 in the end. And I did look it up with ChatGPT, non-spoilery, and it did indeed tell me that it was executive meddling. So I do think the original vision of the author, and I will just consider it as that and not what we saw completely, was perfect. Like, for me, it was perfect. So I don't know. You know, it was a very visceral and meta and fun experience. But we will talk more about that later, I think. Yes, another. I did watch End of Evangelion. I did watch it. It is a troll. I'm now 100% sure it's just a troll. It's a real big troll. And I did think so at the end of watching it. I really think the reaction, I will put a disclaimer in front of it, because I had such a hard time staying fair, because I was so mad at End of Evangelion. I was really mad. I think I've rarely been this mad in a reaction. And I got a bit asshole-ish sometimes, I feel. And now watching it back, I think one or two of the things I just missed, but most of the stuff I still think holds up. But I do also think it was meant by the director. So, hi Thomas. Gurren Lagann, I also did not see that. Like, I have not seen many anime. I did see some niche ones, because in like 2018 I did watch some stuff with a friend. For example, I watched Death Parade. I absolutely love Death Parade. So if you want to watch a good anime, watch Death Parade. Like, it's really cool. Like, 12 episodes, really interesting. Yeah, I know. I'm not making apologies for what I feel. I just want to contextualize it. Like, I will give you the reaction of End of Evangelion, and I just know that many people love that movie, and I have made the experience and reactions. If I go against what people love, there will be shit shows in the comments, and I do think that's okay. Like, you should defend what you love. I am all for that. And I tried my best to be as well-meaning as I could to that movie, but I so loathed it. I so loathed that movie. And until I understood that it was a troll, I was really angry. But when I understood it was a troll, I really loved it. I think now I love the movie. I think I now love End of Evangelion, but not because of the content, but because of the art of trolling it is. I just love it. It's really a piece of art. I do think it is a piece of art. And I would also think it's one of the 100 best movies made, because the trolling is on such an expert level that, you know, I don't know. It's so funny. So funny. I also am so curious to see your reactions to my reaction to End of Evangelion. I think the moment Shinji goes into that room with Asuka and has this little fluid moment, I completely lost my plot. I got so fucking mad. I got so fucking mad. And that was where it started to break, and it just went worse. And that was not the worst thing, though. What really destroyed the movie for me, and I will not spoil more, I will just tease it a bit, where I really went apeshit was the hacking scene in the beginning. The hacking scene that had no fucking purpose and meaning and meta level. It was just a fucking hacking scene, and it was so contrary to episode 15, and I did not like episode 15 that much. Like, it was good, but it was the worst episode of the show, even though it was really good. And that hacking scene at least had purpose and character development. And the hacking scene in End of Evangelion was such fluffy shit. I was so fucking mad. It made no sense as well in universe. And anyway, so that was my tease to End of Evangelion. There was a lot more. Like, the reactions, I think 3.5 hours or 3 hours. I'm unsure if I cut out pauses, of course. So the full reaction, like, you always can see them on Patreon. where I just put a very weak filter on the episode. You can see the whole thing. But I think because I've not edited it, if I edit it, it will be like 2 hours, 40 minutes. And yeah. I think so. I will just. I'm unsure how much I should say about End of Evangelion. You will see my reaction. I already know it will be probably one of the most polarizing reactions on the channel, I think. But I do feel that this time I did try my best to be fair. I was an asshole once or twice, but I tried to be fair. And there was stuff about it I really did love. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it wasn't like I was just... And I was more positive about it when I rewatched my reaction than I thought I was. So I think it's okay. But yeah. What is FLCL, Lydia? What is FLCL? I don't know what that is. I might do it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm an absolute fan of Evangelion now. Like, this is one of my favorite things ever. I didn't think it would be, because as I said in reaction to episode 1, I did watch the first 5 minutes of episode 1 when I was 12 and I was so scared. And the first angel, it scared me like so bad. So I don't know. Fully coolly. Yes, Rex. I don't know. It depends on how people feel about it. If more people like End of Evangelion than the arcade ending, they will hate me more than there. I don't know. I think the only thing in End of Evangelion I was incredibly unfair about, and it didn't really detract from my comments, though, I think, in the end, because it was still true what I said. But I didn't get that Shinji's Eva was frozen in that red goo that was, like, mentioned once. I didn't understand that it was frozen. And I didn't understand that he thought he couldn't get it free. So I really shat on him for not helping Asuka. I really shat on him. But he could have helped her. If he went in, it would have been free, as we saw by his weird mother spirit awakening that was never really... I think explained in the way it was used in End of Evangelion, but anyway. Ripales, I'm commenting on episodes 1 to 16, and I'm teasing End of Evangelion reactions and stuff. So if you want some teasers for the future reactions, we can talk about that. Like, no problem. I'm just not gonna go too much into it because you will see them. I do think I recorded the episode 16 till 26 last Saturday, and I recorded for more than 12 hours. And it was one of the best experiences of my life. I just loved that. Like, and when the ending came, 24 was like, I was like, you know, it was so funny. I will just say this, perhaps also as a tease. So I watched 24 when Kawaru does the thing. I'm not going to spoil. Kawaru does the thing, and I was like, this is perfect ending. Like, he's done everything he needed to do to be the character he never was. He is like, Shinji is like this awesome character, so gone through every peril you could go through in life. I think he went through all of it. Now he should be a complete person. And then we had, and I was like, but there are 2 episodes. What are they gonna do? They're gonna destroy that. Because I saw it in Steins Gate, where it was the anime's fault. It was not the source material. The source material did not do it. But in the anime, I felt like, yeah, here, happy ending tagged on. But in Evangelion, they did it completely right. They just did a victory lap. 25 and 26 was just a victory lap for me. It was so awesome. So I don't know. Yeah, Kaworu. I loved Kaworu, man. Kaworu was so awesome. So awesome. I did not discuss him enough, though. I did not understand him enough to discuss him in depth in that episode. I think Kaworu is one of the things you have to let sink in to understand him completely. So my reaction is a bit lackluster to him. I do think I got many parts, but I did not get his full idea. And I do comment on him in End of Evangelion a bit to make that up, because I slept on it. So I have to keep up with chat a bit. Yeah, Arius, I would love to release episodes daily. I do on Patreon. Currently I try, but I just, like, you know, I've got a 70-hour work schedule. I mean, I'm a professor in quantum physics and psychology. I mean, I do have a lot of things to do in my job. So I do YouTube as a hobby, as some fun time, and I do my best to get out reactions. But I just I have to care for my children. So it's not like that. I do the 2 episodes a week next week again. Though I do think every reaction from this one out will be really cool, I think. But I just can't. If I would do this main job, I would produce every episode daily, obviously. But because, I watched how many? 10 episodes a day. I could watch 10 episodes a day of animes. So I would put out 30 episodes a week on Patreon if I did it that pace, but that's not my main job. I'm a professor, so I don't know. It is I would love to, but I have to keep it a hobby, it's a hobby, and I don't want to make it a complete profession. And the thing is, I don't know if I should talk about that, but I know what reactions would get more clicks than mine. I know that. I know how to do that, but I won't. It's just not my thing. I would not get satisfaction from it, and I would lie a bit, and I won't do it. I won't do reactions that would get me more clicks than I could probably have a lot more clicks if I wanted to, but I won't. I will do it the way I do it because it's fun and I like it as a hobby. And it's just the way I think it should be. Because otherwise I will stop and I don't want to. It's a hobby. Writing is a hobby. I write as a hobby. So so I will actually, I ramble a bit. I ramble in stream as well, we're live there. So I will, oh God, so many comments. I'm so sorry. I will scroll back a bit. Lydia said that, I'm sorry if it is a bit behind. So Lydia said End of Evangelion is the antithesis of Evangelion. I completely 1000% agree. I think I said that in the reaction as well. End of Evangelion is the complete opposite in every single conceivable way as Evangelion ending. So yeah. I think also if you like the in-universe lore a lot, you will probably be more satisfied with End of Evangelion, even though I think the lore made no sense. But that was probably me being dumb. I didn't get it. I tried so hard. I rewinded dialogue pieces so much in End of Evangelion, and they just don't make coherent sense in the dialogue way. So I don't know. Yeah, Aris, I would say Evangelion is probably number 1 anime for me as well. Attack on Titan also. I'm unsure which I like more. But Evangelion is more visceral. Attack on Titan has more universe characters, so I'm unsure. So Glaucus, I liked 25, 26 more than End of Evangelion, the same way I like a beautiful day of sun where I can relax at the beach, read a book, be happy. More than hating working in the coal mine with my budgie dying. I fucking hated End of Evangelion compared to 26 and 25. 25 and 26 was exactly the natural conclusion I felt. It was all in line, everything made sense to me, and let's see more comments. I'm sorry. I did not see Death and Rebirth. People told me just End of Evangelion, so that might be important. Yeah, I know that the red goo V2099. I know that the red goo is a freezing component somehow. That was it wasn't explained enough for me to understand its relevance, I have to say. But the problem with these things is I'm just gonna be very honest and transparent with all of you, because I overanalyze the shit out of things, and sometimes I indeed do lose the meaning of sentences and of in-universe stuff. Normally it is okay. But in Evangelion, I just went so fucking deep into this rabbit hole I just sometimes probably missed stuff, and I know that, and I will not pretend I didn't. So sometimes my comments and criticisms might be really asshole-ish. What do you say? Ignorance. And I know that, so I don't know. Like when I watch stuff, I will just tell you what I feel, and I might be wrong. You know, that's important for me to make transparent, because like my reactions aren't the holy grail or anything. Like it's just a fucking idiot in a chair. Like what is it now? half past 12 talking about an anime. You know I do have some background and stuff. Like I'm not gonna downplay that, but you know it's just an opinion in the end, and you know, yeah. Evangelion world, I needs you is means I love you. Yes, in a way. That's also one of the things. I do think Evangelion did portray the idea of love in one of the most beautiful ways I've seen in media. End of Evangelion shed on that, by the way, but 25, 26, and 24 as well. 24 was this corrupt love through Kaworu, which I loved. Like the Kaworu love aspect was so fucking nasty. I also think Kaworu was a develop, and you will see why. I will just tease it. In episode 18 with the Suzuhara, it's Toji Suzuhara stuff, I think that angel was the same as Kaworu, but Kaworu did it with love, and the angel that attacked Suzuhara did it with ideology, sect, like poisonous mind, virus stuff. And I loved those themes. I think episode 18 moved me the most, and I cried I think I cried pretty hard at the end. Like episode 18 really destroyed me. It was really cool. But yeah, and I think the I love you part is so well addressed in the end. And it's not just I want to shake you, which the end of Evangelion is. That's just I want to shake you. I didn't care. But yeah. Yeah, Kaworu, indeed. I also would say it was grating that Kaworu just appeared in one episode, but it fit. It fit the themes. So I really liked that. Thomas, yes, I agree. Exactly that. I hated watching it. It's a work of art, though. I think it's an ultimate troll. I think End of Evangelion is an ultimate troll, and I do not know the history. I think I would have enjoyed End of Evangelion more if I was in the culture of Evangelion more. I think there was a lot of shade thrown at fans. I got some of it. I didn't get all. And because I didn't know the culture, I had a hard time understanding what was going on. But I've spent yesterday evening reading up on interpretations and stuff, and I nowadays do think that End of Evangelion was taking the piss on fans really hard, like but amicably, like not in a nasty way, very like twinkle in the eye, like, hey, you wanted this, let's do it like that, let's see how your version plays out, and you know, whatever. Yes, Sheen, I will watch the Rebuild movies. I'm such a big fan of Eva, so. I mean, G-Kill, if Eva was aired in Japan and kids watching it, I can't fault them for not understanding it. Like, it was one of the most layered deep shows ever, so. If 25 and 6 didn't exist, End of Evangelion would still have grated me because everything broke. It was, every character did not act the way they acted before, both thematically and in universe. Like, I can give you a very quick example. Misato. Misato was completely like, she kisses him and be like, yeah, now you're gonna be a grow-up because we had intercourse, intimate, which was never the point. That was never the point of the characters. And Shinji being like, yeah, I never understood you, Misato, you're a stranger, and he didn't understand her in like 5 episodes. It was the point of those episodes. Like, anyway, I'm not, you know, I'm getting worked up on everything. I'm getting worked up on it already, even though I've processed it a bit, and I've watched it twice now. So, I mean, you can already see where this is going. So, Yui, Helgastra, I loved Yui. Yui was a really well-made character in the anime. and exactly rightly placed. Because, I had this puberty interpretation obsession, and I think it holds true to some of the stuff. But Yui was the mother that wasn't there, because in puberty, you don't rely on your mother. It's just the psychological way it is. Like, you rely on your father, if at all. You rely on anything. Like, you're a rebel, and if you rely on anything, you rely on your father, but never on your mother. Your mother's uncool in puberty. So I like Yui not being there a lot, and Yui still sacrificing herself for Shinji, and Gendo understanding it, that she sacrificed herself for Shinji, accepting it, and telling Shinji a bit veiled, I never can pronounce it, though, that Yui understood it, that she needed to sacrifice herself for him. Gendo understood it as well, and Gendo was like, yeah, I mean, I get that, I want to follow your wish, I will let you do this, and Shinji will get some advice from me, especially at the graveside, though, of course, that was not in the end in Evangelion, but, I don't know. I mean, End of Evangelion was nowhere about love. Not a single shred of love was in that. It was just desire. And desire is not love. So, it was desire. I mean, the Rebuild series sounds pretty cool. I don't understand it yet. I do think the movie 1 is the same and then starts to deviate. I'm unsure. I will just watch it. If it's the same, I will not comment and you will not see it, but NER, yeah, that sounds really interesting as a master's thesis. Very interesting, the negative freedom with positive freedom. Yes. I also think, by the way, exactly that is the point of episode 25. The negative freedom. If I understand, like, I don't really know what you would define as that, but if I understand your idea from that phrase, I would say 25 is dealing with negative freedom and 26 with positive freedom, which made an awesome ending. And yeah. I mean, AOE is just canon because the author says so, and if the author's trolling with it, obviously he would say so to troll, but Shiro, I'm sorry to butcher it, Hachino. Yes, I heard that End of Evangelion was the answer the author gave to haters. I would understand that. That would be my take as well. Like, I didn't know that when I watched it, but in the end I concluded that, and then I read it up, and it was like that, and I was like, yeah, that's funny. I don't know. KMG, I don't think 25 and End of Evangelion are in any way compatible. They make no sense together. Like, the themes are completely antithetical. Like, I've never seen a theme that was so deliberately antithetical to 25, 26 than End of Evangelion was to it. Like, with what I mean with that is that it was so deliberately a different thing that it can't be coincidence. Like, End of Evangelion is exactly the opposite message, completely, 100,000% the opposite message of 25, 26. That's why I think it's a troll as well. Like, a troll coded in what probably people thought they wanted to see, which is genius. That's why I love it. But, don't know. I did see the director's cut. Yes, I did see the director's cut. I don't know what was added because I just saw those, and I liked the director's cut because I loved every episode from 16 onward a lot. So... if the fandom loved it for 20 plus years, and I mean, that's cool. Like, I'm not gonna be here like, you can't like it. Like, love it. I'm very happy if you like it. Because the thing is, if you find something like a medium, like a piece of media that you really love, even if, let's say, I would say it's shit, or I would say I didn't like it, because it's not shit, I just didn't like it. But if I said I didn't like it, like, don't give a shit. Like, what am I? I'm just an asshole on the internet. Like, don't care. Like, if you like something, don't let it be destroyed by people like me if they don't like it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's very important. Like, I know there's a lot of toxic online discourse about these things. Like, I've seen it, for example, with Doctor Who. Like, that's such a shit show. I know people love it still. I don't, but like, let the people love it. Like, if you love End of Evangelion, I'm very happy for you. Like, truly, I really am happy for you. It's just, my opinion is it's just a troll and shitting on the fandom. But if you like it, like, that's just the opinion of an asshole. Like, just take it as that. Like, it's okay. Like, just because someone says something is shitty or good, like, what are those people? I mean, it's in the show as well. It's Shinji's question. We had this episode I just premiered. It's the question of, is it my idea or the society's idea? That's the basic core of the show. So take your own idea. Like if you want aspects that you might have missed from others that might be against your ideas, like, look at them, try to incorporate them, or dismiss them, but like never run away from them. But if you're still like, no, that person's wrong that said these things, that's okay. It's really okay. Like I don't like because I know how that is. I have had that myself. I've watched the movie, I have had an opinion, someone else did give a completely different opinion. I was like, this is shit, and it really dragged on the movie. And don't let it drag on something. Like, don't let your experiences be dragged on by people that don't like it. Like, it's your own treasure, and treasure it. And I know I will be controversial with End of Evangelion. I know that, but I'm just saying what I think about it in my personal frame of reference. And I think I even say in the reaction, I get why people like it. I know why people might like it. I really get that. It's just I didn't like it, because I came from a different interpretation angle. And it's not objectively bad or anything. Like, the visuals are fucking awesome, and the themes are just a lot different from the show. And I mean, if you had kind of that Shinji completely broke down, that works with End of Evangelion. If you go the depressive road, that works. I think that's consistent with my interpretation of it being in his head a bit. So, like, it's, I don't know, it's important for me. Like, don't like, even if you see my reaction to End of Evangelion and be like, I completely disagree, you're an asshole, that's good. Like, that's fine, keep that for you. Like don't try to mind bend something to my opinion. I just, before I release that in like 5 weeks, so so let me see the chat. At 25-26, I will briefly give my understanding of 25-26 and End of Evangelion. Though End of Evangelion I thought was a bit muddy. So 25-26 was Shinji has grown up. He's beaten all the terrors he had in life and all the challenges through his friends, with the support of his friends. And together they made a victory. And he felt alone because of that, because everyone else still had their problems. Misato has had problems. Asuka has big problems, but Shinji hasn't. Shinji has trespassed his problems, because the most important thing is that he kills Kaworu after he didn't kill Suzuhara. That was the final step of his character development towards grown-up stuff. So he is now he's alone because he's more into, like, he's more resistant to these things than others are. So he looks at them and is like, your worries, I don't give a shit first. Like, then it's 25. I don't give a shit about your worries. I'm transcended them. Like, I don't want anymore. I'm gonna be a lumberjack. Go away. I'm just gonna be a lumberjack somewhere, because you are not at the point I am already. I transcended all my fears, all my terrors, all my challenges. I've done them, and you haven't. And that's exhausting to now deal with your shit. And I'm gonna go away. That's 25. And then 26 is like, but you supported me on my way, so now I will go back and support you. And this is an open end to now that he can now go in and with his experiences start to better their lives, which is exactly the opposite of what happened in the anime. So he comes full character. So he's a very supportive person now, and understand that he needs the connections, because he first thinks my connections are not that important because I know I've reached everything I wanted, but then he realizes my connections were what brought me there, so he goes back. That's my take on 25-26, very roughly. And my take on End of Evangelion is like, everyone dies, I didn't need them, I don't care, In the end, I can just go back, regress back to into my mother's womb, and I can be an infant again, not accountable for anything. Just let everything happen to me. And oh no, you know what? Dreams are pretty important, you know. I'm just gonna go out of that state again because reasons, and I'm gonna go out and yeah. So you know. The congratulations scene, I celebrated. It was so fucking good. That was so cool. Yeah, the themes are opposite. The plot isn't opposite. I also think I'm not gonna spoil it. You will see it in my 26 reaction and if End of Evangelion because I try to understand why Misato's dead in 25. In 25, Ritsugo and Misato are dead, shown dead, and I do think it's not important anymore. It's not important anymore that this Evangelion story would have probably ended with Seele for some reason that I still don't understand attacking, and they might have died. But Shinji doesn't care. It's not his world anymore. He's got a new world where there's hope, where there's connection, and he goes into the new world. So, you know, it's like it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter the lore of the show, because the lore of the show is over. It's not something that he's containing with anymore. He's a new person, he's grown up, he faces new challenges, he faces the challenge of staying the way he is and helping his friends. That's his new challenge. He doesn't care about all the angel stuff, or the Eva stuff, or the nerve stuff. It's an irrelevant story to his being in the end. And that's cool. I like that. That's why in the end everyone congratulates him, because he grew up. he became a man. Anyway. I mean, Zod, I agree. That might be a message of End of Evangelion, continue living. But it doesn't make a very good point for why you should continue living. It basically just says, just do. Because love, perhaps. You know, it's like... I don't know. I will just read the chat a bit. But the thing is also, it is from my interpretation frame. Like, you know, I interpret it from my way of conceptualizing the show. And I think in other reference frames, it's also pretty different, probably. So, Helgastra, Asuka does not get a character conclusion in End of Evangelion. She doesn't. She gets a cheap fan wank cop out in the end. Nothing made sense about Asuka in End of Evangelion. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Asuka was the most assassinated character in End of Evangelion. It was just, hey, you know what? Asuka was pretty depressed in 26 or 24 better. Why not have her have a happy ending with a tragic ending and then a happy ending again with stupid doves that work the way they want every scene they need to work a certain way, you know? It's just like, I think Asuka was the most betrayed character in End of Evangelion, incredibly, completely thrown under the bus. And I do think I got Asuka the best of all the characters in the show, and I was the most, I wasn't even mad anymore, I just laughed at her fucking stupid dove fight. I just laughed at that. It was so ridiculously, stupidly dumb. And nothing made sense. And then we had the grape analogy in the end with all the spears piercing her. And it was just like, yeah, whatever. You don't, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Arias, I don't think his love for Shinji was real. I don't think it was. I think that was the point. I think the Kawaru angel was, and I will quick spoiler, that was the ultimate challenge for Shinji. Someone you love, a friend, loved one, a family member you think that had your back, stabbing you in the back. So Kawaru had to create that idea in him of love to make that fear manifest. Because Kawaru, as the other angels in the end, were psychological angels. You will know why. I will not spoil it why I think that is. But the last angels, like the last 5 or so, were psychological angels, not physical angels anymore. Like attacking not physical fears of life, but psychological fears of the mind. And Kawaru was the last final angel, the thing everyone fears the most. Someone you love stabbing you in the back. I think that the person thinking it's correct. That's why Kawaru did work so well for me. I mean, Yalo, what do you mean by reading it what way? I'm unsure, because I do think still, as I said, I might read it in a different way than people. Like, I know there are other ways of reading it. So, yeah, Ray was like, at least Ray was more in the End of Evangelion than like she at least got a giant psycho angel form. I don't know. I do think, by the way, the dreams in End of Evangelion are also shitting on the fans in that he says, you might fictionalize everything and you might live in the dream, but it's not the reality. I've looked at those lines in that theater scene now, I think today, again, in my reaction. And it's basically being like, hey fans, you made up your own ending that you wanted. It's your dream. That is what you wanted. It's not reality. That's what I think he said there, pretty directly. I think those lines are pretty much author speaking to you, being like, you might have had another ending in mind. You might have had your great angel fight, your great end for all the storylines, but that's not what I had in mind. It is your dream. The reality is my idea. But let's just indulge your dream for a moment and see that it doesn't really work. So, and that's what Amuro said as well. People didn't like the show ending because it wasn't an epic battle. He didn't like that led Shinji to defeating the angels. He did. That's the problem. I think that's something that might have been, at least in my reading, it's that Shinji did defeat every angel until like 24. Episode 24, Shinji has defeated the angels. It's done. The story's over. Now the question is, what do you do with a story that's over? Like, look at Frieren. Frieren deals with the same ideas a bit that 25-26 does. Like you know, it's like, what do you do with a character that has beaten his enemies, his fears? That's what 25 and 26 explore. Do you make that character go away from everyone because he succeeded where everyone has failed? Or do you let the character turn back and help everyone and connect with everyone that connected with him already? And that was what I took from that. So, yeah. Oh god, there was so much chat. I'm so sorry, I'm so slow. Also, I do have some apple juice today because it's a stream. Don't need to monetize anything, like this is not monetized, so. It's apple juice, it's not a whiskey. Wouldn't drink that on stream. So let's go. So Epic, good night, yes. Zero Store, Sirius and End of Evangelion are both sides of the same coin. I would also agree, though. I would agree. The branch is Shinji growing up or not. If Shinji doesn't grow up, End of Evangelion happens. If Shinji grows up, 25-26 happens. I think that's the branching point, roughly spoken. So, Shiro Kami, can you perhaps give more context to your question? Because I think that's interesting, but I don't know what's the option for them if not to go on. I mean, the option for not going on is almost seppuku. That was the theme of, for example, Asuka's mother. That was the theme of imposter Shinji in End of Evangelion movie. The seppuku option. And why it shouldn't be a thing is basically the answer of 26. And End of Evangelion tries it, but yeah. Yeah, I really can see that. I felt the same. Like, I also felt the last episodes were so cathartic. They were really, really cathartic to me. They were as cathartic as seeing L get Light get shit on so badly. Like, it was the same catharsis, but in a positive way. So, I mean, I don't know if how Neon Genesis Evangelion was written. I just don't know. I do you know the problem is with these things. If I react to this, like I react to something that's on Netflix, I don't have the culture. I don't know what people think about it. You know, that's the problem with reactions. I could look it up, but I might spoil myself, and I don't want that. So, yeah, I've heard that the manga. The only thing about the Evangelion manga is that I know that Toji does indeed do what I think he should have done in the anime. I think that was the only time in the anime reactions that I was really disappointed and mad, and I really, really got back to that with snarky comments in the next episode a lot. The Toji scene. You probably know which one. Like, I really cried my eyes out, and then the fucking stupid executive meddling apparently happened. So, yeah. I think Kawaru, I do think that I don't know. Kawaru was so weird first. Like you will see it. I was so like I knew he was a weird ding dong, but I thought so much about Kawaru, and Kawaru was the perfect last angel, the perfect last angel for me. And I don't know. The whole show did show me that the author did have a big, deep understanding of psychology, even though it was probably instinctual. But yeah, I also think the funny thing is that, and you will see it, but there are two arcs, no, three arcs, perhaps even. There are three arcs in Evangelion. The first arc is until episode 15, which is like fighting angels, fighting your fears, overcoming them. Then we have episode 16, which we just had the premiere of, where Shinji realizes this is something I can't face. So he regresses, he has mistakes, he goes back to his mother literally, and his mother is like a protective area, and he starts again. And until we have episode 19, I think, with the isolation angel, and he faces it and beats it with berserk mode, and that for me signified that he finally had accepted his body and his mother and his home and all these primal things. He had accepted all the bodily problems and angels. He had beaten them because his berserk mode was exactly doing what it should, and he activated it on purpose, I think, arguably. And then after that, the mind angels came, like the orbit angel, the helix angel, and Kawaru. Was there another one? I don't remember. I'm so sorry, but yeah. So, I loved that though. It was such a understated, like they were understated arcs. So, oh god, the comments are there's too many comments. I'm sorry, there are too many comments. First world problems. Like the video, this ninja stream I didn't plan on doing. um, um, yeah, I might consider watching other stuff. I will probably do additional Evangelion stuff on my own, though. I've had the experience of like, if I promise I will do more context of a show I'm watching in X, I will just not be able to deliver because my timetable is shitty and small, and yeah. Rokas, I understand why non-analytical people would hate 2526. Like if you, I think I said that as well in the EOE reactions. I think I say that. I think if you were invested in the lore and the in-universe story, you hated 2526, and I could so see why. I get that. Like that would be such a fucking middle finger, 25 and 26, if you were just there for the in-universe story. I wasn't though. So perhaps that was my yeah. Quantum Ray, I don't know if Ray's quantum. Ray's just a clone, I think. I still don't know what exactly she is after everything. My hypothesis is, and don't tell me if I'm right, of course. My hypothesis or understanding is that Ray is a clone of Yui, but somehow modified. And I don't know exactly how the modification was. And I think it was with Lilith a bit, but I really do not know. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Rey is the mother reborn, and that's all that matters. So, I mean, if in Rebuild everything's completely different, I might be interested. I'm just not interested in characters breaking, you know? I'm interested in other ideas. Yeah, Taken, I agree. That's the thing. I think Shinji walked back, but psychologically, it made no sense that he walked back because he had already beaten the things that would make him walk back. That was my problem. Like, I do think if you don't see it as this big thing, but if you work through a trauma once, you work through it. That's just how it is in therapy. Like, I can tell you that. Like, it's my job in part, arguably, like, to know these things. But like, if you go through a trauma and you work through it very hardly, your brain is just rewired. You don't fall back to that. And even if you fall back, it's easier to get out. You know, so. And you Bleach Core 4 is hopefully coming back January 26th because I need to watch it. So. Pure Metal Core, I agree. The ending was. I liked the ending of EOE. I did like the ending. I did like that. Like the last 5 minutes, but it was not earned nothing. But if I would just have seen the last 5 minutes of EOE, that would have been a cool alternate ending. I agree. That's cool. I would like that. I like the beach. I like, even though I called that Asuka wasn't, you know, like it was obvious, and I predict that like half the episode in that she wouldn't bite the dust. I know, I'm sorry if this is a spoiler, but like I knew everything about Asuka. I predicted everything about her in that movie because it was so on the nose and so ridiculously padding. But I understood what they were doing completely with her. And in the end, the beach scene was the only thing that was really relevant, and that was cool. Like the Asuka Shinji beach scene is really, really cool. Really loved that. That is awesome. Ren, I agree. He does. He does indeed embrace individuality. In the EOE movie, it makes no sense though because there's no build-up, no progression. You don't get your thoughts. You just get this weird dream dialogue, which makes no sense to me. And in the 25-26, you get an incredibly awesome, in-depth character study on why he chooses individuality. Like the 25-26 is such a brilliant setup and payoff for that. And the movies were just like, hey, you know what? Actually, everyone being the same is really bad, even though we never made an argument for why it's bad. It's just two ChatGPT sentences telling you why it's bad. No, it's bad. So he decides against it. That's why I also really don't like it. Yeah. So I think the complementarity is more like, what do you want, the father or the mother? Because EOE is also incredibly heavy on the nose and random as Polish with mother symbology, which never was a thing in the original. So, there is, I think there is indeed connective tissue missing between 24 and 25. Though I was prepared for that weirdly. I don't know why. Perhaps it was because I knew that 25-26 were controversial. Like this chat and YouTube comments have told me that. So I was prepared for something weird and different. So perhaps that eased it. But I also think the story is done with 24. The Evangelion story focusing on Shinji is done in 24. Everything else is not focused on Shinji anymore. Also proven by the fact that the whole first part of the End of Evangelion movie is without Shinji. Shinji has no part in the whole fucking movie until he goes to his Eva and it takes him. Other than that, the whole movie could work without Shinji. Then there's the point when Shinji goes in, fuses with Rei, everything's Shinji again. But before that, Shinji didn't need to be there. It was not about Shinji anymore, the movie. And that's also why I hated it. Like, the show was always about Shinji. There were side characters that were working through some stuff as well, but it was always framed through the idea of fighting angels, which was Shinji's idea of growing up. You know, and the movie was whatever. Yeah. Frieren is not all overrated at all. Frieren is absolute genius. absolute genius. Frieren is an absolute genius anime. Frieren is one of the most genius animes as well. I think Frieren is the only anime that has a meta level of Evangelion that I've seen. Frieren has a meta level beyond belief. It's incredibly well done. And the German words, and I don't know, you're probably not German, but the German words in Frieren will completely blow your mind off. Like I've done Frieren reactions like that are like Evangelion reactions that are incredibly long, and Frieren is to me on par thematically with Evangelion, though I do think the themes of Evangelion are more visceral, which is why I like it more. But Frieren is genius. Like the namings of the characters, if you know them, what they mean, they are so beyond mind-blowing. I think I did a 4-hour video on the German meanings of Frieren characters, and like I do think that's marvelously done. So I agree, though, that Evangelion takes the substance of identity? Yes. Frieren tackles the substance of purpose. Indeed, yes. I would agree, though, Eloy. I agree with your assessment of the purposes. But Frieren is not overrated in my mind. Like, I mean, that's like I can't tell you that that's wrong, obviously. But in my mind, Frieren addresses the same metaphorical layer as does Evangelion. And Frieren deserves its spot as one of the best anime I've seen very well. Like, there are Frieren episodes I talked for 1 hour about as well, because Frieren is so layered and good, and it has the same psychological depth as Evangelion. Frieren does have that. I do think, though, if you don't know the German meanings of the names, a lot is getting lost. And because I know them, because I'm German, like, Frieren is mind-blowingly awesome. So nuanced. Anyway, enough of the Frieren lauding, because you can never do that enough, but yeah. Oh. Yeah, Redbox, I agree with the comparison with the overcoming struggles and worst version of yourself, yeah. I have to watch the movies 3.0 and 1, so yeah. I mean, End of Evangelion, why is End of Evangelion optimistic? Everyone's dead. No one decides to go back to human form. All of them stay into weird limbo asshole space. Shinji almost chokes Asuka and she's like, I'm still alive. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna get better. Okay, guess I'm gonna live with you on a barren wasteland. Which is like, you can take that as hopeful. I didn't. You can take that as hopeful. I agree. You can take that as hopeful. I just didn't. I don't know. Your Name, I don't think I have watched that. I'm unsure. I have watched some anime anime movies that were out there, and I don't remember if I watched that one. I might have watched it, I might have not. Yeah. And we'll shortly scroll back. Okay. Yeah, the option to go on, yes. The option is to go on, but the question is how to go on. Do you accept your burden and your fate and be a sulking A-bag, like Shinji was almost all of EOE? Or do you understand that you've grown up and you go back to your friends and support them the way they supported you? I don't know. I know this is all very personal interpretation, though, so. I don't think that 25-26 was I ran out of budget. I can't see that. Like, I know there are some still shots that are really weird. Like, I see, like, when I see 24, 25, 26, I see that they held on to scenes too long. And I felt it was weird. It still fit, but I realized and I noticed that. I did notice that. And I get that there were budget problems for some scenes, but I'm in no way in hell gonna be like they wanted to do EOE instead of 25-26. If the author has a brain, the author didn't want to do that. I don't know. I know that 25-26 could have used more animation, but other than that, I don't know. It's opinion, though. Please consider that. Yeah, I don't know. The thing is with my preconceptions, I mean, everyone has preconceptions. There are no interpretations free of preconceptions, not even in science, not in physics. You don't know how many people argue about data sets that are having objective numbers. Incredible. Like objectivity is a thing in science, but it's not as big as people think. And the objectivity in science is often held as this holy grail in popular depictions of science, and it's not true. It's not true, and it's incredibly dishonest to state that it's true, and it's almost brainwashing and trying to entice people to say that science is objective. Like if you say science is objective, I already know you don't know what science is. Like, I'm not gonna kid you. That's so fucking dumb. Like, it's incredibly, ridiculously dumb to say that science is objective. Data is objective, but interpretations of science are not objective. So, yeah. Liano, I know that Shinji accepts himself in the end of both versions, but in End of Evangelion, it makes no fucking sense that he accepts himself. Why would he do that? There's no argument made for it. There's just fluffy ChatGPT dialogue language spouted at me. And there's no meaning. I tried my best. Like, I'm not gonna, like, it's not like I brushed it off. I tried my best to interpret what the fuck was going on and said, but the lines made no sense. The lines themselves made sense, but the lines in sequence made no sense a lot of the time in End of Evangelion. It was just fluff. It was pretending to be clever. It wasn't. And now I think it was on purpose. And I don't like the conclusion for Shinji rejecting instrumentality in End of Evangelion was complete assball, made no sense, and it was out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. Like, there's no A to B argument to be made to go there. It was Kawaru saying some stuff that made no sense in universe because it was about themes that were never brought up before, and suddenly everything works. Like, you know, it's... I don't know. Yeah, Toji and Kawaru are the same problem. I love the Toji scene though, because that the Kawaru scene. No, I'm sorry. The Toji scene I'm talking about, you know which one, is the best scene where we see that that Gendo is a loving father. That was the most love Gendo has given Shinji. The Suzuhara scene, the Toji Suzuhara scene in the end. That was the biggest love that Gendo could give him, and Shinji didn't even realize that. And I probably think the viewer didn't realize it because on the surface, Gendo is such a fucking prick. But I don't think that it is the case if you really think about it. I think Gendo was at his best when he did that. What he did with the Suzuhara thing. And you will see it in my reaction. And it takes buying into an interpretation I have. It takes that. Like, I see that you would disagree if you have another way of approaching it, you know? But it was my take, so I was pretty adamant on that. Shinji could not accept Kawaru's death. Shinji accepted Kawaru's death 100% in 24, 100% in 24-26, because it was necessary, because it was exactly the thing he had to do. It is a thing you would have to do in real life. Exactly that. 100% right. You have to do that if you grow up. And he didn't accept it in the movies, and that's why he was such a fucking wimp. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it now. He's just a fucking stupid asshole wimp in the movies, not the Shinji I know. Hashtag not my Shinji. Hashtag not my Gendo, by the way, in the movies as well. See, you got me to the point where I say these things. I don't want to say these things, like, but it's my opinion. I really had problems with those things. Frieren being top 1 on Mel. I don't know if Frieren's top 1. I think Frieren deserves a top tier spot in anime history. I don't think it's the best. It's one of the best. So, Mushishi, Shirokami Hichino, is that the one with the dude traveling the lands, hearing stories or something? I think I've watched 5 minutes of episode 1, And I didn't abort it because I didn't like it. I really liked it, but I didn't have time. I was studying, I had my exams, and I forgot it. Like, that's how it is. So I didn't watch Mushishi. I watched Mushishi, like, I started it. I didn't have time because of my, because back then I was in a master's program and I couldn't finish it because of time. So Mushishi is something, I liked it, but I never got into it. I think if I would get into Mushishi, I would love it. But it's just very surface level impressions I got from it. So, I hope that addresses that a bit. Yeah, the music, the technical things are like really awesome. Really awesome. Like End of Evangelion, I don't know if you're talking about it though, I hope you are. End of Evangelion, the soundtrack, even though it was a bit too on the nose Christian fuck you, but the visuals were beyond godly. I loved the Ray Lilith fusion visuals. They were haunting, they're weird. And one of my monsters in my book is having a bit of a similar visual in my head. So it was really cool. So I don't know. I don't know if Mushishi is too abstract. I haven't seen it. Is Mononoke an anime series? I thought it was a movie. I don't know. I don't think I missed the point of End of Evangelion. It was to troll the fan base. It was 100% the point. I'm 100% sure. Like, even though I might err because I'm just an idiot, but in my head canon or in my understanding, and I've really tried to dig at it, I've really gone at it like I did with the anime. I really dug into End of Evangelion with all I had, and it's just a fucking giant troll to anime and to the fans. It's just a troll. And it's a good troll. It's a nice troll. It's not a malicious troll. It's a very nice troll. And it is such a good troll that I think if you don't really look below the surface, you got what you wanted that you didn't get in 25-26. And that is genius. That's very good. Like, it's not a... If you were dissatisfied with 25-26, it's a perfect movie, I think. So I think it's just the mode of watching it. So... Iliano, I did understand the live action shot. I think that was one of the only shots I immediately understood. I also hope that we were real cosplayers. Like, I loved that shot, like the Misato, Rei, Asuka shot. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie. So, I don't think there is wrong ways to interpret the text. I mean, yeah, that is the thing though with these things. I'm ignoring parts of the movie to explain it. Let's say it like that. I know you haven't seen my reaction, and that is unfair to you. So, but I don't think I got something's wrong because I can't. Because the themes were so on the nose that, like, the themes in EOE were so much more on the nose than in the show that we were just, like, shouting in your face, hey, this is the theme. Do you get the theme? This is the theme. It wasn't the theme. The theme was, you think this is the theme? Fuck off. I don't know. but as I said, like don't let this detract. Like, if you say I understand everything incorrectly, that's okay. I might. And if it makes you happier, just assume that. Like, I'm not gonna shit on any like, if you think I misunderstand something and I'm an idiot, it's okay. Like, that's perfectly fine and in line, and you have that right. You do have that. You do have that right. Shiro Kami, I don't think that Gendo ever showed any bad thing towards Shinji. I think he did act incorrectly. I do think Gendo, there were scenes where he could have acted better. But what he did, not what he said, what he did, all the time was incredibly supportive of Shinji. And that's a harsh lesson. It's a harsh lesson to understand that Gendo did the best for Shinji, because that's something in a fairy tale-like setting you would not say. In a fairy tale-like setting, or in a very broad setting, you would say Gendo was an asshole. He abandoned his son. He did not appear when he needed him. So he abandoned him. First point, he didn't abandon him. Shinji abandoned him. Second point, he only ever really interacted with him and intervened when Shinji was at his last leg, and he saved him through that, through different means. But every time he didn't attack, Shinji wasn't in danger of dying, arguably. Shinji was facing his fears, his nightmares, and a good father lets his children face the nightmares on their own. He's not there holding their hand. He's not there comforting them. He's being like, this is the fucking asshole monster. Go fucking shoot it in the face and don't run away. It's like in Supernatural. Like, there's this scene, like, I love Supernatural. I'm gonna out myself here. I love Supernatural, one of my favorite shows. I know it's in parts, but it's such a guilty pleasure of mine, one of my favorite shows. I think my wife's favorite show, potentially. She binged that, all 16 seasons. She binged that when she finished her master's program. Like, she binged that, and I really like it as well. But in Supernatural, there's a scene. And there's a scene where Dean goes to Sam, and he says, like, you know what? And it's the same theme. Like, this father of Sam and Dean is the same idea as Gendo. Exactly 100% the same idea. So if you know Sam and Dean's father's idea, it's the same idea as Gendo. The father is like, I'm trying to recollect. Dean's like, you know what other people were like when they told their fathers that the monsters were under the bed? The fathers were like, no, there are no monsters. Everything's fine. Come with me. And my father was like, took a cold and was like, yeah, shoot it in the face. And that's exactly what Gendo is. Shoot it in the face. Don't wimp. Don't run away. Shoot it in the face. Confront it. And that's what you have to do in puberty. And generally in life, you have to confront your fears. Otherwise, they will fucking kill you, which the angels would have done. And that's why I love Gendo. Gendo is my second favorite character because he did exactly the right thing and he looks like a fucking asshole. And the only thing I really hated was when he smirked. He smirked when the Toji stuff happened. I really hated that. But other than that, he was an incredibly well-working father. So, oh god, there are so many comments now about Gendo. I'm so sorry, guys. I mean, Shinji does question Javier why humanity and angels fight, and that is a question, but that's the mother idea. The mother idea is we don't need to fight. We can all just kumbaya, but there are fucking things that kill you. Like, if you go to a rattlesnake, it will kill you. I don't know if a rattlesnake... Let's do another thing. If you go to a sea wasp, which is a jellyfish that has poison that instantly kills you in like 60 seconds, you can't go to that and be like, sea wasp, why aren't we okay with each other? Let's just live along. Be happy. You swim in the ocean. I'm on the beach and I die. You kill me. Like, people and things in the world kill you. They kill you. There are things that you can't coexist with. And that's why early Shinji says that, because he does not understand that. Early Shinji is like, we could make up. We could make up with angels. Perhaps we do misunderstand them. But the idea of the world is no. There are things you can't understand. There are animals that will kill you. There is cancer that will kill you. There are things that kill you. You can't negotiate with them. You can't do that. Like this motherly love thing of, let's try to understand them. There are situations you can't do that. And in nowadays society, that's forgotten a lot as well. Like the idea of there is evil, pure evil, it will kill you. You can't understand why it does it. Or if you understand it, it's just, it will kill you. That's the understanding. It will kill you. Like the way an avalanche will kill you. It's just the way it is. And that's forgotten. And Shinji didn't understand it when he said that. So in the end, he understood it because he killed Kaworu. He killed what he needed to kill. Because there are things that are evil and that will backstab you, and you just have to kill them. And it might just be metaphorically. You might cut them loose from your life, which is the Koraru case. Like, you don't have to literally kill people. Of course, you never do that, but anyone. So now I rambled. This is so funny. I even ramble on live streams. It never happened before. So, yeah, my mad scientist there. Fun fact, I can't get an appointment with a hairdresser because they're overbooked, and I don't want to go to one that's not mine because they charge $10 more. So no. So I will just go through some comments. Also, if you have recommendations, put them on the Patreon. Luxlong, I think it's just trolling the fandom. I don't have any other idea why he would have made that movie. Like End of Evangelion, and I really tried. Like, I'm not just saying that. I really, like, if you have been with the channel a while, I really try to understand things. And I really try to understand another reason why he would have made the movie of End of Evangelion, other than being like, this is what you wanted, okay, fine, here it is, but I'm gonna give you the middle finger hidden in between. That is exactly what it is. And so you get a satisfying ending if you don't care about the middle finger. And if you see the middle finger, you really see the middle finger in the movie. You really see the middle finger in the movie. So, like, for example, doing the liquid stuff with Asuka in the hospital, like, that's basically fans doing that to Asuka. Like, I've seen people, I've seen the Asuka cosplays. I've seen how people do that probably in their bedrooms to Asuka, even though she's 14. And he was like, you know what? You are fucking disgusting. I'm putting a line in where it says, Shinji, I'm disgusting. And I'm not judging that. I mean, I've got my waifus. But, that's the idea. I'm just trying to get the idea across what he's doing. That's an example. That scene, the hospital scene, is trolling the fans, being like, yeah, that's what you did to Asuka, really? Didn't you? You are filth. And that's with a twinkle. I don't think he meant that. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, again, an interpretation of mine. And I might be a dick again. So, Oh, I didn't know there was a Mononoke anime. I just know the movie by Ghibli. I love it. It was my first anime I watched, I think, that was grown up. I mean, in End of Evangelion, did we learn who was behind it all? I don't think we knew that. Pure Metalcore, that's such an interesting point that he hated Gendo, that you hate Gendo because he wanted Yui back. I think that's what you're saying. If I am representing you incorrectly, please tell me here in the comments, of course, because I don't want to do that. But what I understand is that your point is, I hope I get this correct, that Gendo wanted Yui back. That's why he did instrumentality. I don't see that in the show, in the anime. Never stated, ever stated. It is an End of Evangelion thing. It was one of the worst retcons I had, because it also made no sense. Because him wanting Yui back in End of Evangelion is the only thing that makes Seele attack them, if I understood it correctly. And I didn't get that. Like, I think I spent half an hour almost trying to figure out why Seele attacked them anyway. Like, I get why they hate Gendo, but like, let him be assassinated by. I didn't get why Seele attacked Nerf. I didn't get it. I don't get it till now. Why Seele attacks Nerf? I don't get that. They want the same thing. Like, Gendo might have wanted some other thing here, like you said, with Yui, but like, no one in Nerf even knew that, I think. So it was all like, I mean, I might miss a piece, Iyalo. Yeah, that might be true. Like, I hope you can give me that piece, because I do think if I get some distance as well, I might really value that even more. Like, I will value every piece of contradicting evidence, or whatever you would say. I don't know the word you give me. I love that if you are like, yeah, I see that in a different way. I get that most of the time, so I'm very curious to get that evidence. I hope you give it. I really like that. Um. Oh God, my chat is so far gone now. Yeah. We might need to end that stream. I know we've been going for more than an hour. Reversary, I did see End of Evangelion. I did see it. John Titor, I agree in part with the Gendo stuff, but I would say he did indeed manage to love him. So, Zod, yeah, I don't know what the rebuilds are. I know that End of Evangelion, I don't think that's a piece of love. End of Evangelion is not a piece of love. That's a piece of spite. I think 25, 26 is a piece of love. Perhaps rebuild as well. I don't know. Yeah. Shiroka Mihichun, I do think indeed Gendo might not know how to love Shinji in story, but I also don't think the Evangelion world is real. I do think that's just Shinji's subconsciousness, all of that represented in the mecha fights and angels and all of that. It's just a school life represented in very artistic way. So because I do think that's the most controversial thing probably about my 26 reaction. I do think the school world is real. I do think the school world is real. And I do think everything else is subconscious expression of that school world in some kind of form. Because that makes the most sense to me. Because there are one or two ideas in the school world that really hit home for me. And I loved that. And I do think many people will probably say the school world is not real. And I would understand that. I get why. But for me, it fits. And it made me really happy to think that. So let's leave it at that. So that's also why I think the real Gendo is just a dude reading a newspaper, and she is just very distant from him because he's at work all the time. So anyone. So let's see if we see more messages that are new. I mean, reversary. I get that they're like that makes my my ideas of End of Evangelion even more probable. I'm trying to find the right words because if fans were revolting for the original ending, I get why the creator would have done End of Evangelion. I get it. So. I don't think I'm too nice to Gendo. I think you're too harsh on Gendo because Gendo is one of those characters. If you look at him at the surface, he's one of the biggest dicks in fiction. But if you really think about what the themes are that he's representing, he's one of the best parents ever. Yeah, real wrecked. I agree. For me, there were great things about End of Evangelion as well. There were great things. There were some things I really loved, but only snippets, like ideas that bubbled up, and I really did love them. But yeah. I don't think it was addressing the themes of the series. No, I don't think End of Evangelion was addressing themes of the series. It basically addressed Shinji's isolation idea that was already dealt with in episode 19. That was done with. Like, Shinji had some remaining doubts about it. That's natural. But the isolation idea was done with the isolation angel, that like this weird thing that had no legs and feet, and did fire a lot of crosses into the ground and had these weird paper origami hands. That one was the isolation angel to me, and that was exactly the idea of isolation angel, Shinji felt, and it was dealt with this Eva mode. I think, with his berserk mode. And after that, I think that theme in the show was just done. It was done. It came up again in an interesting way in 25-26 when Shinji had evolved past the other people. But in principle, this isolation and a bad mood and nihilistic idea, that was done within 19. And they pretended it was a thing again in 25-26. I mean, it could be, but it's not a good story to make it do the same thing. Like End of Evangelion, a lot of the things were rehashes as well. Member berries, rehashes, and yeah. I don't know. I don't know what eschatological is. End of Evangelion does. I don't know if it goes hyper metaphysical. I mean, it goes completely non metaphysical for 90%, then the real world stuff happens, and it goes incredibly metaphysical, and then I don't know. Yeah, the end of Evangelion is just like, I love the visuals so much, but like slogan, yes, the tendency to escapism was indeed addressed in 26 when he, like 25-26 was the last ideas of escapism resolved, so to speak, because he escaped because he was better than anyone else in, like, he didn't think he was, but he was, because he had fought everything the others couldn't manage to beat. Misato, for example, had her father complexes. Asuka had the bad place she was in. Everyone had the bad places they were in. Ritsuko had the bad place she was in. I mean, Suzuhara lost everything, and Ida, I think his name is, moved away, and all that stuff. And Shinji had beaten all his things. He was isolated by that, and that was the last isolation he had to face and that he faced. And in End of Evangelion, he didn't. And the last thing Shinji needed to learn was getting stabbed in the back by someone he trusted, because all the anime built up to him losing his boundaries to trust people, to connect with them. So Last Angel was that, doing that and being stabbed in the back, and he overcame that. Like, it's the last border, because you would say normally, so we have an anime or a show or a story, and we connect with this person, starts to connect, learns to connect, and learns to not isolate himself, and that's the story, and in the end he's not isolated anymore. But the dark thing about it is, people you're not isolated from can stab you in the fucking back, people that you love. So that's why it is the Last Angel in my mind. I don't know if that makes sense. Oh god, so many comments. Oh, I'm so sorry. Good god. I mean, I don't know if End of Evangelion is a troll. What are the additional endings made since then? I don't know. I mean, perhaps a troll, perhaps not, perhaps another idea about the characters. I just don't know. I can't tell you that. I will have to see that. Yeah, Psychopath was high in the Patreon suggestions last time. It might come up soon. So, yeah. Yeah, so I agree with that. It is the ending people wanted, I think, but it's not the one that is sensible. So that's, I mean, Yui was the villain of the series. I mean, I don't even know what she really wanted. All I think that she wanted was to make sure that, like, not end of Evangelion, but what she wanted was protect her son. That's what she wanted. So, and I do think Gendo knew that. That's why all the Gendo is an asshole things don't really fit in the end, but Black Rabbit, that's good, yeah. Shinji reacts human complementarity because he realized that he would spend an eternity with everyone knowing what happened in the hospital. Yeah, the hospital scene, man. Thomas, yeah, have a good rest as well. Yeah. I mean, John Titor, that might be true that he made that. I know that the author made the ending in reaction to something. The only question is, did he want to give people what they wanted, or did they want to give them what they wanted and secretly troll them because he was like, "Fuck you, that's not my ending." You know, that's the question. We don't know. Might be both. Might be that it's the true ending. It just doesn't fit for me thematically or in universe on any level, but if it does for you, it's brilliant. Yeah. I mean, yeah, just because things deal with themes doesn't mean they all deal with the themes in the same way. That'd be stupid. I mean, I'm an author. I'm not a good author. I'm an okay author. Like I did produce a pretty good book now, but like you don't deal with themes every time the same way. Like him dealing with the themes in other anime again means that he didn't deal with them in this one the same way as in the others. Like that would make no sense as a creative mind. I can tell you that I'm not the best creative mind, but I can tell you even I try to deal with things a different way because otherwise it's boring. Why write the same thing twice, so to speak? Like that makes no sense. Uh. Yeah, Schoolworld being real. For me, Schoolworld is real. You will see my arguments because also it fits. Like for example, the little details like Pen being the childhood clock that he still has, like hanging on to childhood. It fits so well. I mean, uh, Purachicho, I did watch End of Evangelion already, and I will watch rebuild movies. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the school thing. It's just happy. Asuka story, like everyone's the way they are, but in realistic ways. So I like that. Yeah, JMD, Taylor. I get that. That's also like, yeah. End of Evangelion. I like that though. I mean, look at that. We're having this big discussion. We're basically talking about the same idea in different ways here all the time. And it means that at least whatever End of Evangelion was, it was something that really moved people and gave them passion for things that are important. Because what I'm not going to deny is that End of Evangelion also has deep themes. I I felt they were not connected, but you know, going with Misato, man, the Misato kiss. I was so mad at the Misato kiss. Jesus fucking Christ, stupid shit, eh? I don't know. I did watch the director's cut, Citizens. I did watch the director's cut, yeah. I'm gonna stroll through some comments and I'm gonna call it quits because it's now 2 a.m. and I have to give a lecture in 7 hours. So. Um, I mean, if you would say, let's also say this. If you, like, I can see alternative endings, interpretation being a thing for 25, 26 and End of Evangelion. Like, if it's alternative endings, it makes sense. I wouldn't like the End of Evangelion ending because I think it breaks stuff, but if you say Shinji regressed, that's a fine alternative ending, yeah. I would say that's a very consistent ending then. Uh, Yeah, GG, that's also what I think. Because he does that numerous times. There are other dialogue pieces that are like pretty much the author being like, yeah, no, F you all. I didn't notice the population of the building though. Citizen, I didn't know. Mega, no, I don't know. How could you get? I'm not being a dick. Like I'm trying. Like this is not being me being. I just can't understand how you would ever think that End of Evangelion and 2526 are in any way thematically or character-wise the same thing. They're completely opposite, 100%, 180 degree different. Misato is completely different. For example, like yes, she says she does the same thing again and again as a mistake, but 2526 Misato did admit to that and was there for Shinji to change. She didn't go and kiss Shinji because she wanted to F him. Like, I know that's not completely implied in End of Evangelion. You could say that she did it to save the world, but she did go back into her primal sexuality to convince Shinji to do things. And she tried to be a big sister in 2526, and then it was reversed with Shinji being her bigger brother for a bit. But it's like, holy shit. And it was last like Misato kissing him was like, hey, you liked it? Like, it's in the chat here. I'm sorry. It's like, hey, you liked in episode 1 where he hit on that older woman? Wouldn't that be nice? I mean, Asuka hits on an older man. Isn't that cool? He gets the older girl as well, the MILF. Isn't that exactly what you want? He kisses her. Now he's got a harem of Asuka and Rei and everyone. Isn't that like the perfect anime ending you want? Fuck you. Like, that's what I get from the message. But perhaps I'm too prude and I'm out of these things. But that's what I felt. That's what I felt. I don't know. I mean, I'm just an asshole in the chair. You have to, I'm just an asshole with it in the chair. Thanks, Flies. I'm glad you enjoy the reactions. I mean, Jam did tell him Misato didn't need to kiss him normally because Shinji would have been not a brain-dead idiot. Like, that kiss was random fan service. It was shipping bait as shit. It was Shinji didn't even react. I mean, he put her cross on the grave in the end, but holy shit, that was such fan bait. I've rarely seen fan bait as big as the Misato kiss. Breaking character. Before that, he says, I don't know you, even though that was the point of their relationship, that he knew her as the only person. Like, the episode where he understands that she puts on the mask on the outside, she's another person on the inside. He really distraught. He really knows her, and she says, like, you're a stranger. Like, holy fucking, you just now you're trolling me, I think. You're not, I know, it's just it's like yeah, so everyone who wants to go, just go and then sleep. I mean, Misato doesn't know, like, why would, like, Misato did not motivate Shinji, and even if she did, the next scene we see him, he sits sobbing next to Eva. I know it was probably the weird fluid I didn't understand, but he just sits there. He's done. Misato did nothing to him to motivate him to save Asuka. Nothing to get him into the chair. What got him into the chair was mother plot Kai. I know I used the D word here. Mother plot convenience. That's what got him into the Eva in the end. Because the plot said the Eva has now have to accept him because the mother's the most important thing now. Regression is the most important thing. You have to go into the Eva now. Like, Misato's talk did shit. It was just fan service. In 90%. It did a bit. I'm not going to be an asshole, but it didn't do what she thought it would. So Yes, Eloy, it was fanbait. It was fanbait because I'm pretty sure Misato's the MILF character everyone loved. And it's just me being an asshole. I know. It's just me being an asshole. And just being an asshole, extrapolating from other comments I see on forums to other anime. But Misato's this typical MILF character that he want to get to as perhaps a fantasy. And that's cool. Like I know why the attraction is. Don't get me wrong. I know where the attraction is. But it's not about that. Like, the anime is not about these things. Other animes, I really get that. Like, it's cool. But in End of Evangelion, it's not. If you go for her, you lose yourself. You don't grow up. Because if you go for Misato, you go to the older woman that has the experience, you lose accountability. So... He looks low and he did explicitly call her a stranger he doesn't know and he hates her. Like, he doesn't say he hates her, but he calls her a stranger, one of the most stupidest things. So... Citizens, I would disagree. That's what she thinks she did, but she didn't do anything. Misato didn't achieve anything with her kiss. She didn't. Because it is the culmination of... Because the thing is, in anime, it's always like this tension. There's a tension about people you would ship, and you always want it, but it's never given by the author. It's never given. That's the anime. That's unfair. It's not an anime trope. It's a story trope. It's this tension. It's also in cultivation stories, for example. Like, there are potential partners you have in anime, and it is will they, won't they, all the time. Will they, won't they, all the time. And that's the appeal in some sections. So if you give a kiss, it's settled. That's the deal. So you give them a kiss. So, you know. The kiss didn't work. The Eva did all the thing. His mother did all the thing. He didn't do shit. He just sat there sulking because he was an idiot. I mean, I get why she... Like, don't get me wrong. I did why she does it. I do know why she does it, in a way. But... Like, it feels so fucking stupid because it's fan bait. It's fan bait. I know it might even be, you might be able to argue it's somehow in character, but I don't know. I agree. That's probably, that is true. That is true. It is an emotionally charged kiss, but it is not about that what I'm talking about. I know that in story, in this version, even though Shinji was not in character at all, but if Shinji would have been in this state, the kiss might have been a nice gesture from her. Don't get me wrong. I know that. Like, I'm not arguing against that. I hope you don't misunderstand it. I know that in this scene, when you have a Shinji that shouldn't be like this, that's depressed, her kiss would probably, like, that was from her a good bet. It was a good bet from her. But it still was fan service as shit. It was. You can't tell me it wasn't. Like, I don't, like, it's not about that she did it, but like that. That's so stupid. I'm sorry. I can't. Perhaps I don't get this across correctly. I think, like, in that scene, let's just take that scene. He has that state, she kisses him to try to get him out of that state. That is completely in line. Like, that works really well. But that's not like everything. You know, the scene is in a movie, set in a universe where we had prior stuff, and in that it doesn't work. I don't know if that's... I don't know if that's... I really think I'm not getting the point across. I try to do here. Like, it's so hard to say. Because that's the problem. The scene itself works. All of the scenes in End of Evangelion, most of them do work on their own. They do work. I will say that. It is the case. They work. But they don't work in a cohesive story that we already have been told. It's hard to express. It's hard to express, you know? So, I don't know. It's like, let's take it like that. Let's put it on a meta level I like so much. Let's say there's character A, it's a boy. He has problems, or not problems. He doesn't know who he likes. There's girl A who's a tsundere. There's girl B who is quiet and nice. There's girl C who's a MILF. Who is he gonna be with? We don't know. Who do you want him to be with? Wouldn't it be cool if he kissed the MILF? That would really be satisfying, because then he would choose that path, and you could perhaps. Now that sounds wrong. I don't want to say like that. I don't mean it like that. It's like, it is potentials you might like that you see expressed in the anime, and the anime is trying to give you all the potentials expressed of what relationships there could be. You have the Asuka relationship, you have the Rei literally meta fucking him, like it's literally she fucks him. So you have all three potential candidates realized as romantic ideas in this story. And it's like fan service. He doesn't have to choose. He just gets everything. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't even do anything. He just sits in a mecha. He doesn't think. He just doesn't do. He just gets everything the fans would want him to get without doing any fucking thing. Yeah, I do think that's the best. I'm sorry it took a bit of... That's why I ramble. I need to think. So, okay. JMD Tell, that's the point though. She talked to him a lot, and he often did not directly react to her, but he, through his actions, did react to her. We saw that she influenced him through his actions. I don't know. I mean, perhaps I'm describing isekai. I know it's a trope there, but it's also perhaps I'm too fucking scarred by Nisekoi. I'm sorry. I probably I'm probably too scarred by Nisekoi, where this was exactly the same problem. And don't get me wrong, like if there's a story where he chooses one of them, and you have to admit, like you have to at least give me that Rei, Asuka, and Misato are the tropes of women you might desire in anime. You have to give me that, and I would argue, in a healthy thing, you would have to choose one. And he didn't need to do it. He got all of them. You know? Yalo, I think now you are trolling. I think now you are trolling. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Now you are trolling. I'm not gonna take that rage bait. I'm not gonna take that. Jim Return, yes, like don't get me wrong. I like all those three aspects. Eloy, I also agree they were not valid choices. I also agree with that. I agree with that. Yes, they weren't valid choices, but you got everything. That's why it grates me so much. She got all of them. I don't want to be mean. If I come off this, I'm very sorry. I just don't understand your points. Um, because if you say I don't understand something, I can't argue with it. You know, like if you would say, let's make an example. If you say the kiss is meant as X because Y, I could argue with it. You know, that would help me. Then I would love to have that discussion. But I can't argue with you if you say you understand nothing. Like that's not a good point to argue with. You know. I mean, hello. That's good if it frustrates you if you hate how I see the story. I do think that means that we both got a lot of cool stuff from the story. And as I said, like if you think you hate how I see the story, let's put it like that. I do hope that you love the story even more the way you see it. Like I don't want to sit here and destroy your story idea. And please hold on to yours if you think mine is shit. Like seriously, that's really important to me. Like I don't want to sit here and tell you what to think. That's the least thing, you know. I do think the thing is with Eva, everyone. I do think let's end it like this, perhaps, because I think this is a good end. Eva is like a picture you see in an art gallery, and everyone who walks by it sees its intricacies and the work of the brush and the color of everything that's depicted, and it makes a symphony of something beautiful, and the symphony is something different for everyone. And some people will see or hear the same symphony, but others won't. And I do think that's okay. Because, I do think I'm someone that understands other people pretty well if they give their reasons. And I'm not saying that other people's ideas about this are wrong, not in the slightest. I just tell you my opinion, my view based on my experiences. And I'm not even saying that my experiences are better or worse than anyone else's. Like, I mean, I could play my background card of being psychology red and all of that shit. I'm not gonna do that. It would be fucking stupid. That's not an argument. I'm gonna be frank, it's not an argument. Even though I do have some backgrounds and some ideas that we consider perhaps as academic or whatever the fuck, I don't care. Like, that is not an argument. I'm not gonna make that, it's not an argument. It is about what you get from this story. And if it's different from what I get, that's good. Because you got something that you think is important. And that's important. You know what I mean? And I think that's the gist. So the congratulations scene, I loved that. I think I clapped. Yeah, I also think Zod puts it very beautifully. Like, everyone, I think Eva is something, because, I know how psychologically, I know how that works. You do something that's not as confined to prior beliefs as other things, so everyone can make it their own painting. And I do think that's lovely. I think these kinds of media are very valuable. That's why I do think this medium is valuable. And I do think it was in episode 6 that I started the puberty shit. And I still think that's my best, most valuable understanding for myself I get from it. And I know it's not what others might get from it. It's just my view. And it's my painting I get from it, It's like, that's how I see this. I mean, yes. I mean, of course, you're perhaps here because my background, but it's not like I see it so often that people like. I hate that. I hate when people take their background and use it to make their opinions better than other people's. I do think in some scenarios that's valid, but in this one, it's definitely not. And in general, in interpretations of stories, it's not. Backgrounds don't mean shit. You might add more ideas to a story, but it doesn't mean that does not mean that these ideas are better than other people's ideas. You know what I mean? Edu, yes, I will watch them. I will watch them. Yes. Yes, I will watch them. Yes, John Triter, I also agree with that. I agree with that. That's also the point of it's the point of the series. Everyone has their own take. They might diverge. They might be the same. I don't know. I mean, I would love to see the French version. I mean, not knowing what your father does, Eloy, there are so many layers to that. I do think the father figure, both in fiction as in reality, is one of the most complex and not well understood things we know. Like, and I'm now talking from my background. Like, what a father figure does what estrangement might do, what connection might do. We just have inklings. Like, there's a lot of literature in it, a lot of studies about it, but we know it's important to have a father figure. We still figure out what an important father, like what a good father figure is. And I also do think, at least in my take, and again, it's my take, that this anime deals with that a lot, because the father figure is in stories often, but not necessarily often, it is a stand-in for societal rules and norms and ideas and pressure. So, Yalo, there are no objectives in the world. There are useful things in the world. Postmodernism is ridiculously stupid. Postmodernism doesn't understand that there are things that are of more utility. The thing is not objectivity, but utility. And I do think that's one of the biggest misconceptions. People like Hospital Scene Shinji about objectivity, but it's not that. It's utility. It's an evolutionary idea, though, and it's, again, a stance I have. But I do think the most useful stance to have in the world is what is of biggest utility is probably the best thing, you know? So, I don't know. Good night, Kenshin. Yeah. I like what you say about the act of cooking, Eloy. I really do like that. I'm not gonna self-plug, but I indeed have a chapter in my book about cooking and this idea, because I do think that's important. Because what is cooking if you do it for yourself? So, you know. Yeah, John Titor, I do think that's exactly correct. I think I said that earlier. There is objective facts, like there is facts, but the interpretation is always subjective. And I do think that's hard to swallow, because it's easy to say science is objective, and that's preposterously stupid, in that it is ignorant of science. So, yeah. Flies, exactly, yeah. And I wouldn't, like, it's not even, like, all models might be wrong, but some are more wrong than others if you say wrong is not useful, so. Yeah. Postmodernism is taking, like, I know, like, it's funny. I've seen my statements being misunderstood as postmodernism. It's not. I'm highly, and I don't like doing politics here, but I do think postmodernism is one of the stupidest things you can think of, because it's useless. It's nihilism. It's basically Shinji giving up. That's postmodernism. Postmodernism doesn't lead there. I do think the way is just wrong. You conclude from science not being objective to everyone's opinion is the same worth, and you define worth by what people want. And that's you won't get far. Like, everyone might have their own opinions, but in the greater context of surviving, for example, opinions have different utility. And the ones that have more utility are probably better. So that's how I would order hierarchies. It's a very evolutionary perspective, I know that. But I do think, like, there are hierarchies, you have to order things. Otherwise, you're just fumbling around in nothingness, so I don't know. I mean, I could react to many things, probably. Anyway, so I will leave the stream now. I hope you had some fun. Hope I made some of my points clear. I don't like political stories. I do think politics bog down too many thoughts and tie them to certain ideas. They destroy creativity. politics destroys creativity because you have to adhere to one stream of thought, and I always like to have two. So I don't know. I do have you have a good night. And put suggestions probably in the Discord. Also check out my story. I will just post it again. Just read it. Here it is. First 3 chapters. I just posted them. I hope you read them. I deal with these ideas as well, though not on a sophisticated level, probably as I know this. But I love Frieren. You should see my Frieren reactions and my Frieren explanations if you are interested. And if you don't like Frieren and think it's overhyped, perhaps that will change your mind. And if it doesn't, perhaps you got some more ideas. Like I do Frieren reactions, like I do End of Evangelion reactions, same vein. I think my Evangelion and Frieren reactions are probably extremely close. I think they are the closest from reaction type. Attack on Titan is close as well, but those 3 are similar in my reactions, I think. So anyway, I do hope you like this random ninja stream. We'll do another one after like End of Evangelion is released on the channel, which is like in 4 weeks, and we will look at it with more spoiler stuff. Yeah, but if you're not convinced, it's fine as well. Like, don't feel forced to be convinced. As I said, like, keep an open mind. Think about what I say, but don't hold it as the ultimate truth, because it's not. I'm just an idiot with a chair, with a comfy chair, though. So I hope you check out my story. I hope you like it a bit. Like, read the first chapters that are posted. If you don't like it, just drop it. But if you like it, support it a bit. That would be nice. And yeah, I don't know. So take care of yourselves, everyone. I hope you will have a great night, evening, morning, or wherever you are. And it's been fun. It's been really fun. Thank everyone for participating, and never feel hindered in expressing ideas that are contrary to mine. I don't mind. I like that, because that makes me think. So don't feel like you are being an asshole to me. I love people disagreeing. Never feel pressured. And just tell me your opinion. That's important. Like, this is not a channel where you have to say what I have to say. Really. It isn't. This is the point of the channel. Voice your opinions. I'm interested, always. Even if I might not understand them. But I do think diversity in this regard is important, and I think that's a good way to end the stream. So take care of yourself as always, and check out my book. I will pause it again because I will self-plug now the shit out of this because it's finally on. And see you latest on next Tuesday. And take care. So